What's happening, everybody? It is March. We're in March. It's a busy weekend coming up. We got UFC fights. We got NBA, but this episode, we are doing NBA. I got Pete and David here. What's up, guys?
Yo, what's up?
What up?
We're going to be drafting teams. We got top 5 dunks in contest history, surprise team. We'll talk futures. We're going to tell you who's going to win the NBA title. I nailed the NFL and the baseball one. And baseball. So I'm probably going to just what I tell you is probably as good as gold here.
Okay.
So we'll see. If like I mentioned, we have UFC. Me and Bob are going to be doing another episode this week. So if you haven't, we'll release at the same time. So just check that out as well. Big pay-per-view this weekend. But first things first, let's get to the All-Star Weekend layout. We got the skills competition and the three-point shootout before the game. Yeah. Then the game and the dunk contest at halftime. Do you guys like the layout better, or did you like the Saturday night, Sunday?
Yeah, no, Saturday night for sure.
Yeah.
That's like, the whole entire weekend is usually, on Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
So, you're fired up Saturday night. You got the celebrity game going on, too. Mm-hmm. No celebrity game this year.
Rising Stars isn't happening.
Rising Stars, yeah. So it's missing a few links, but, due to the climate we're in now, I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
At least they're having something.
Yeah, right. It's better than nothing.
I kind of prefer the all-day Sunday just because I haven't watched an All-Star game in years. I only watched the Saturday night. So this is almost forcing me to watch. If I want to watch the dunk contest and stuff, I have to watch the All-Star game.
Right.
So you usually just watch Saturday?
I usually just watch Saturday night. And
really?
I haven't watched an All-Star game in years.
That's what I do.
So this year, I'll probably tune in. I saw the end of last year's because I like the Elam ending, which we'll talk about that.
That's
they use that
clutch.
for TBT. And they're doing it 24 on our Kobe, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, I prefer the Saturday night. It sucks. We're recording this Monday. This obviously is going to come out Wednesday, and by then they're probably going to have participants announced. But the dunk contest, so far they got Anthony Simmons, Cassius Stanley, and Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
Rumors Zion, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Do you prefer any of those three?
If Zion's in it, I'm taking Zion.
Yeah.
Just the power.
I'm taking
But he's going to be probably the odds are going to favor him so heavily. I like taking the dogs. 3-point shootout, always take the bigger underdog, I think.
Right, yeah. Buddy Hield won it last year.
Buddy Hield won it last year. He beat Booker in the finals.
Yeah, but Joe Harris.
That's
a 24-foot layup.
He won 2 years ago. Bogdanovich from the Jazz, maybe he gets in there. I think Mitchell's doing it. But he's the type, he's going to try hard. Like he wants to win. Yeah. That's what I like betting on those guys. The favorites don't really, like Booker, everybody knows he's a great shooter.
Right.
But like Zach LaVine wants to do the 3-point shootout.
But Curry could do it left-handed in his sleep.
I think Mitchell's on if he gets in it this year, I think he's really going to try to win because Quinn Snyder's the coach of that. So I think he's a good bet for like MVP of the game even.
Right.
Because those guys, there's certain guys that try, like Russell Westbrook. He's trying hard no matter what.
Yeah.
He's
trying to go out and destroy you.
Yeah.
He's got that mentality.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the Elam ending, they need to do that.
Absolutely.
I guess they can't do it in the regular season, but that'd be fun.
Just do it in the championship for one game. First game.
If it gets to game
7.
One, yeah. Do the Elam ending.
All right, let's do before we get to the draft, let's do top 5 dunks in contest history. They're your favorites. Like, what's your number 5?
Number 5 for me is, it's kind of traditional, but it's one of the most iconic ones for me, and it's Michael Jordan from the free throw line where he cocked it back. I don't want to put it my number 5, but I'm going to put it in there just because of how iconic it was.
Yeah.
And it's the Jumpman logo. It's Michael Jordan. I cannot leave Mike out of the top 5.
I struggle with that too because the iconic moment, yeah. I just didn't think it was, but yeah, I get
it's definitely not one
athletic.
Of the, right.
Yeah.
It's not in I'm putting it in my top 5 just because of the iconic dunk,
right.
And it's Michael.
Yeah, no, that's fair. My 5, I did the Gerald Green, the cupcake when he blew out the candles. It's just one of my favorite. I don't think it was the best dunk, obviously, but when he was doing it, I was like, what is he putting? You couldn't even see what he was putting up there. Then he jumped up there and blew out the candle. So that's my 5th. That's one of my favorite ones. I like the showmanship.
Yeah.
Just the weird stuff they do.
Creative. Creativity.
My 5th one, I wasn't alive yet for it, but I seen it on YouTube. And it's when Spud Webb, he beat out Dominique Wilkins.
Because he was the first little guy.
Yeah.
To
5'7".
really take over.
5'7".
Yeah.
And he beat out his teammate, Dominique Wilkins, who's a high flyer.
Right.
So that's pretty impressive. And shout out to the little guys.
All right, what do you got?
At number 4, I got Jason Richardson coming up. I think he's definitely in my top 5, greatest dunk contest dunkers. but the baseline lob, and he threw it up, went in between the legs, and cocked it back reverse left-handed, offhand.
Yeah.
Not even looking at the rim, just smashed it down. And the best part about that was he did it on the first attempt.
Right.
So, like, you know, all these other guys that have these crazy dunks, they're doing it on the fifth attempt, the sixth attempt.
A lot of them, yeah.
But no, this guy did it on the first attempt. To me, that's definitely up there.
All right, my 4, this one's kind of similar to the Gerald Green one, that when Blake Griffin jumped over the car.
The Kia
I
Optima.
hated that one.
You did?
I hated it. I thought
Why?
it was he jumped over the hood.
Yeah, but at
That
the
thing's
time,
like 3 foot. I could jump over the hood.
Oh,
Okay,
here we
maybe
go.
not. Okay, maybe not. But still,
I just thought
that was not that impressive.
back to the showmanship. That was the first
Who
time.
threw him the ball too?
I don't
forget. It
remember.
was
I just know he
Chris Paul.
when that
They held
came
it up
Nobody
there.
cares about that.
when he drives a car onto the court and jumps over it. That was the first
Yeah,
time. The
that's
props are like kind of coming in because all the creativity went out,
Yeah.
and he just went out and did that. And then since then, it's been absolute chaos
Yeah.
as far as the creativity.
Yeah.
They've been.
Man, I can't believe.
But yeah,
that's in
that's
the top
I
five.
just remember that you remember it for sure. Like
Yeah, I hated it. I remember it because I was not a big fan.
I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
I thought it was cool.
Pat loves the showmanship, dude.
I like the
No,
showmanship.
fair enough. I can
Yeah.
not see it in my top 5. That's
All right.
all.
Number 4, I like the Zach LaVine where he jumped inside the free throw line and then went between the legs and the Statue
Oh.
of Liberty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So that was my number 4.
That's my number 3.
The Levine.
Well,
Through the legs.
from the free throw
Well,
line.
you'll see my next 3.
So that's your 3. That's your number
That's
3.
my 3.
All right, my number 2 or my number 3 is Vince Carter's reverse 360 windmill. That's my 3rd. Just is that your 2?
I wish we had different ones.
I know.
'Cause
I mean,
that's-
it's tough to
Yeah.
when you get in the top 3, you can't really go with showmanship because you got to recognize the crazy dunks that happen.
Yeah.
So we already know probably our
Right.
top 3 are all going to be the same. So I have 3 Vince Carter reverse 360, and then 2 is my Levine from the free throw line between
Okay.
legs.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is your 2?
So my
we
2, yeah, it's pretty much flipped. But no. I like the Levine where he went, or Aaron Gordon where he went under his legs.
Over the mascot.
Yeah,
Over the mascot,
under the legs.
sitting down. That's my number 1.
2.
That's my number 1. That's the best dunk I've ever seen. He was sitting flat like in a chair.
No one knows how big that dude is.
And went-
He's
I know. No,
huge.
he's a big guy.
That was my number 1 dunk of all
That
time.
was my number 2.
Was
That's my number
sitting
2.
down flat, and it was like it wasn't like his legs weren't. It was like he was in a chair.
Yeah.
There was no
Right.
That was super impressive.
It was wild.
How tall was that mascot?
pretty tall.
Yeah.
It's taller than Dwight
And
Howard.
then what was that other one where the mascot was doing like a freaking
Yeah.
360 on a what was that? The little like the
Stand?
freaking stand or whatever.
Yeah.
That was freaking weird.
Yeah. So we all have the same top 3 pretty much.
Any Vince Carter dunk was my number 1.
Yeah, that's so.
He had a bunch.
I mean,
There's so many. You could make a top 5 list of just him.
Not the elbow one though.
You don't
Yeah,
like that?
well,
Not
everybody
number
else did
one.
that.
Not number 1.
He was the first one to do it, though, right?
Yeah.
He was the first one. I mean, it hurts.
Creativity.
It's creative. That's a show. That's your show.
Because when he, yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
But when he dunked it, everybody thought it was a normal dunk. We're like, why did he do
They
that?
didn't see
and
what
then they
they'd
zoomed
replay.
in. He's hanging from the elbow.
Right.
Ow.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, that was a little flashback in time. All right, let's do All-Star Game snubs. Who's your guys' snub? One snub, and you can't say a snub without telling me who they should replace.
I'll take this one first. I'm a Jazz fan. Mike Conley is playing by far one of the best years of his career with the Utah Jazz. He's ranked number 1 in player efficiency, and he's shooting very well. He didn't get to play that well last year because his new system just got traded, and he's a big piece to this run that they're on right now. And I feel like being the number 1 team, you should get rewarded with the 3rd player versus some of these other players that are starters. Doncic. He's playing great. I'm not arguing that. But if you're gonna say, "Oh, it's because of the team," and you're not gonna reward some of these players, we rewarded this guy as a starter, and his team's not even in the playoffs right now, and they're not playing that good without him. So I mean, he is good. Obviously,
He's valuable.
Yeah, he's very valuable. He's an all-star caliber player. But I don't know. They shouldn't have rewarded him. They should have rewarded Conley, who's never been an all-star, arguably one of the best players to never make the all-star game, which is incredible.
Yeah, his career numbers and
Right.
never
Yeah.
to be named an All-Star is
Right.
nuts.
I mean, he's been playing in the West for his whole career.
right.
So I mean,
that's the
that's the downside, right?
Yeah.
And he played for Memphis, and he got one of the largest contracts ever in history, and never made the All Stars. So it speaks to, it speaks volumes of his work ethic and his skill. And I thought this year, 33 years old, probably not going to be in contention later down the road, right? He's past his prime. Right. So I thought this year would have been a great year, especially who he should have replaced. and that of being Chris Paul, whose numbers are...
I'll put CP3 on the chopping block. He should have never made the All-Star.
Yeah, he shouldn't have made it. I mean, he obviously got them in the 4th seed, so you could argue that, but I think that's the only argument you really have. He made the team better, but they were already on a better, flight pattern.
They're already trending up.
Right.
I think coming from OKC and seeing what he did there,
right,
kind of carried over, and a lot of it's fan voting too.
Yeah, so they see that, and he was a household name when he was with the Clippers. I get that. So yeah, that's my snub is Mike Conley. 33 years old, never made the All-Stars, and
I almost feel like if your team's not in the playoff hunt, you shouldn't be an All-Star. I kind of feel that way.
I feel like that to a degree.
I mean, not like Kevin Love was putting up monster numbers with the Timberwolves. He goes to another team and he's not putting up those numbers again. Right. But he was an all-star and just a stud, with the Timberwolves. I don't know. I just think it's tough.
Like Jeremy Grant, the Jeremy Grant effect. Somebody has to score. So he goes from Denver. Not saying he's a bad player or anything. He's improved a lot. But I've seen a lot of arguments for him. He's favored to win most improved player, but you almost have to improve.
Exactly.
I don't know. We'll get to that later, but I get your point.
Yeah, that's my stub.
I can see that.
So, all right. So you're replacing Chris Paul?
Yeah, of course.
I'm replacing Chris Paul as well.
The Chris Paul hate is real.
No, I'm going to go with DeMar DeRozan over Chris Paul, only because I really thought coming in this year, I thought the Pelicans were going to replace the Spurs.
Yeah.
Like in that whole top 8 seed, But all of a sudden, this Spurs team cannot go away, will not go away. And I think DeMar DeRozan, look at he's averaging 20 points a game, 5 boards, 7 assists as a shooting guard, small forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's shooting 49% from the field, 88% from the free throw line. Like I feel like if you took him off that Spurs team, they're nowhere in contention for the playoffs.
I agree with that.
It's kind of like I'm going to value DeMar DeRozan over Chris Paul only because I value Devin Booker over Chris Paul on that team.
So DeRozan's the best player on the Spurs, basically.
Right.
Leading them to where they are. Whereas Chris Paul comes in, Booker's already
there.
They're
a 5th seed in the
They're right
West.
behind, right? Suns are 4 as of Monday. Today's Monday, but 4 and 5.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
They're 17 and 12 or something like that in the West.
I want to say the Spurs win total this year was 29.5.
Wow.
And they're already I think they're 17 and 12. So,
and then Lamarcus Aldridge, he's been out. He's been out. He's not even playing that well. He's averaging like 14.5 points, 5 rebounds. Like he's not the Lamarcus Aldridge of old. But they have DeJounte Murray and Patty Mills.
Didn't he just come back too though? Wasn't he out for a while because they had that Des White and Patty Mills was playing a lot.
I think they have like 7 or 8 players.
White's been hurt too.
Yeah, it's been.
They have like 7 or 8 players in double figures.
They're under the radar.
Yeah,
for sure.
For definitely. I counted them out.
I didn't even.
Yeah, same here. That's why I thought the Pelicans were going to squeeze in over the Spurs. The Mavericks as well. I thought the Mavericks were going to be a little bit better, but I'm taking DeMar DeRozan over Chris Paul.
Yeah, you got the Spurs are ahead of the Nuggets. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I can see that. My snub is obviously it would have been Booker and Sabonis. They got in because of injury or whatever, but I'm going Trae Young. Dude's averaging 26.5 points per game, 12th in the league in scoring, 9.5 assists. That's good for 3rd in the league in assists. And then he's got 4.2 rebounds per game. When you go back to the playoff teams, I would have took out. I know Vujovic is having a great year.
Yeah.
But I'm putting Young over him. I really couldn't find anybody else. I'd take out Chris Paul.
What's the Hawks' record this year?
Yeah, they're down. They're 12th or something. They started off good, but they're not. They fell off a lot. But if you take Trae Young off that team too, he's a big difference.
They're going to struggle.
And I'm surprised he didn't get the nod because All-Star game, like we mentioned, fan voting. Everybody wants to watch Trae Young shoot the ball because he's a show. He doesn't play any defense. I think you mentioned that before the podcast. But you look at him compared to Devin Booker. So
I'd rather see Trae Young than Vujovic.
Yeah, 100%. And there's no position. Vujovic deserves the award.
I would.
But we're not talking MVP here. We're talking All-Star game, showmanship, all that stuff. So I say Trae Young got snubbed. There's a bunch of other ones I've seen, like Christian Wood. He's having a great year, but he hasn't played enough. He's been hurt. Jeremy Grant, we mentioned.
Bam Adebayo.
Bam. No one's even talked about Chris Middleton.
I know.
No one's talked about him.
Yeah, what are they?
I've seen him on articles. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's balling.
He's balling, yeah.
So but you can't reward everybody. It's limited. The only thing
tough.
you could expand it to 15 players, but
It's tough,
I know it's tough in this league, especially that there's so much talent in the league right now.
especially in the West.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a ton.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's the thing. So I'm taking Young over Vujovic. All right, let's get to this draft. You guys are going to be LeBron and Durant for this section. You guys are going to draft the All-Star team. So the draft is tomorrow, Thursday.
Okay.
LeBron is drafting. So Pete's going to be Team LeBron. David's going to be Team Durant, but I'm letting David pick his captain since Durant's out. So he's going to get to protect one player in the East.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do Team LeBron gets first pick for the starters, and then we'll switch it over, and David, you'll have first pick for the reserves. So, first pick was, David, you did, who's your protecting?
So I protected Joel Embiid.
Okay, so you're going basically Team Embiid.
Yeah.
So who you got first?
Smart man. Oh,
So
I
you
went
got
with
Bron-
Curry.
Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
All-Star game, just sniper.
Yeah.
Just
100%.
pulling it?
Yeah, pulling it from deep.
Okay.
Best
love Curry, though.
best basketball player in the world right now.
You love Curry, so I kind of figured that would be your go-to guy right there.
On
in
a
the All-Star
side
game.
note, I had people texting me that,
What?
oh, is Pete serious about Curry being the best player in the world right now?
Yeah.
I literally had somebody text me that, and I was like, I don't know if he truly believes that, but I think he does. The way he's talking right now,
I think he does. He's been on this train. I think
I was
You've
saying
said
this.
this for
I was
years.
saying this for at least the last 5 years.
We were saying that this year he was playing like an MVP player.
Yes, he's
Together.
playing with frickin' Jake the plumber and
Gosh.
4 of his brothers.
He's
seriously-
Wiseman's looked good.
He's
Sixth man
okay,
now. He's
but
already
he's a
still-
rookie.
He's still rookie. No, I'm
He's a
not
rookie.
saying he's not Jake the plumber though.
Okay, he's Jill the plumber. Like
Now he's okay.
Jake and Jill. I mean, they're not like the whole Toscana. You couldn't name
No, yeah, it's not Toscano.
like Wiggins has never been that good.
Bazemore, he's back.
Like
he's back.
that team is not that good, and they're in the playoffs right now.
True.
So to do what he's doing right now is pretty unheard of. It reminds me. I mean, I don't want to make this outlandish, but like offensive rating wise, like it's comparable to when Kobe was going off when they were the number 7 seed and were up 3-1 against the Suns.
No, I'm not mad. I agree. I watched Curry the other night, and he didn't do much. They were down by 30 against the Lakers in the second
Right.
quarter, but they were running two. Every time Curry touched the ball, they were running 2 guys at him,
Right.
and no one else could do anything. So,
That's my biggest thing is like soon as he touches the ball past half court, there's 2 guys on him.
yeah.
You don't see that anywhere else in the NBA today. Like 2 guys on him. Like their
The
whole
only other
game
one
plan.
would be Dame Lillard. That's the only one I've seen
Right.
where they run
Yeah.
immediately because he pulled
Yeah.
up from the logo.
Right. It's a good thing they have CJ McCollum. I mean,
Yeah.
you give Curry CJ instead of frickin' Wiggins.
Yeah,
Come on.
Klay Thompson's out. Draymond's been a shell of himself. But hey,
Yeah.
okay.
19
you got,
assists, by the way.
You got Curry. Who you got? Who's your first
Oh, I
pick?
picked Doncic.
Luka.
As I was just talking about how he shouldn't be rewarded, but
Right.
he's clearly a great player.
Yeah.
And he's playing well. I mean, the game winners he's been hitting on just like I want that
that
on
one
my
against
team.
Celtics made me throw
Yeah,
up.
I want that on my All-Star team. So I picked Doncic second.
And he'll distribute. His passing is crazy.
Yeah, he's just a stud player.
All right, who you got?
I don't even know. Let me see the list again.
You went Kawhi, right?
You would
Kawhi
Kawhi.
Leonard.
Did I go Kawhi?
Yeah, we already did the draft, so I mean, I can read them to you guys and explain if you want. Kawhi Leonard,
You went Kawhi, and I went Jokic.
the Joker. You're going big. So
Yeah,
so
he
far
went
you got
big on me.
Embiid-
I liked his team, actually.
Embiid, Doncic, and Jokic.
Yeah,
Early.
So I'm just going to run him off the floor.
that's what you think.
Yeah, that's right. Then you got then you got Kawhi. Then you went Giannis.
Yeah,
Greek
then you-
Freak dropped to the
Yep.
8th, 7th pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty
a-
surprising. He was the
that's a
captain
steal.
last year.
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah,
It's a
I mean,
steal.
he's averaging 29, 11, and 6 or something this
Yeah,
year.
but I based my
Still
team.
can't shoot, but
Yeah, I based my team around chemistry. So Jokic patches, Doncic passes, and Embiid passes, and they're all forces to be reckoned with inside the paint, and they will step out and shoot threes. So what I do, I build around them. So I
yeah.
said, give me Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal goes next.
Another
Bradley
shooter.
Beal's
So
having a
it's
monster
a
year.
nice team.
Boom.
He was the snub last year. Remember, he
Yeah.
didn't get drafted.
He knows
he
the
didn't,
feeling.
he didn't get
He knows.
somehow.
Yeah.
And they're speaking of
Put
Beal,
another good player on a bad team.
they're coming back. They've won
They
some.
are on a
They
tear.
won 4 or 5 in a row at one
Good
point.
team.
They were
Against
beating
good teams,
Denver,
too. Yeah.
Houston. Well, Houston kind of fell off.
Lakers.
The Lakers. They put it on 127. When Westbrook doesn't turn the ball over, they win. It's kind of surprising if you look at the
It's not that
numbers.
surprising.
No,
Right.
I mean,
the
I guess
ball
it's not,
over,
but like, I mean, they lost to Boston the other night when Westbrook played decent. But when all he has to do is not turn it over, and then Beal
Yeah.
drops, 35.
Right.
It seems like they play way better against good teams.
Yeah. I mean, you're
They
giving
lose
them
to
a
some
shot.
scrubs. All right, so you went. So you got Beal, and then Tatum was the last starter for your team, and then Kyrie was the last pick.
Right.
So let's get.
I'm not taking a head case.
You don't want. You don't want to burn.
I don't want
sage?
that head case.
You don't want the sage burn before the All-Star game.
Another player that can shoot the ball.
All right, so now you get the first pick in the reserves.
Yep. My first pick.
Dame.
I went with Dame Lillard. I went Dame time.
Yeah.
I went Dame time.
He should be a starter.
Yeah.
We mentioned that. So Dame time, and then you went.
So would you rather have Damian Lillard or James Harden?
Yeah, you went Lillard and then Harden.
Right.
You're
I'm
taking
going
James
Lillard.
over James Harden?
Yes.
In an All-Star game?
Thank you.
No, I'm just
In
saying.
an All-Star game?
in general.
All-Stars.
Or a close game. Because, I mean, imagine Elam ending.
Right.
Either way, you take
give it-
Dame.
Yeah.
You think he's a better basketball player than
I
James
think
Harden?
I think he's a better offensive
No.
threat.
The problem is when it gets to late game and you run, Harden gets fouled so much,
He
gets to the
does.
free throw line,
does.
and he's bigger. He's got the wide frame. I think Lillard, it's shown in the past years. That's why, I mean, I guess it's shown for both of them. They can't get to
Right.
the finals.
Right.
But I feel like Harden, I
Harden's been
would take
closer.
Harden.
Harden's been closer.
I would take Harden
OKC.
slightly over Lillard. Not by much, but I think Harden is probably overall better.
I like little guys, so
I like Lillard better. He's one of
Right.
my favorite guys to watch. But
definitely an argument.
James Harden's playing some of the best basketball of his career right
he
now.
is. He's balling.
yeah, he's doing
Not arguing
well.
that.
All right, then went Lillard, Harden, Paul George, Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
I love Jaylen Brown.
I love him. He's playing great. He's playing excellent.
I don't know if he's better. George just disappears.
Push off P.
He'll play good
not-
for a while.
Just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
Just wait.
I'm
Then
not-
you got
no.
Zion. It's funny how you guys picked though, because then he went Zion and Randall, which are essentially
the same,
same
player.
guy.
Yeah,
Except obviously Zion's a little bit bigger and
Right.
stronger, but Randall's playing out of his mind.
he is.
Then he went Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker.
Right.
Similar guys,
Yeah.
both can shoot. Then it went Zach LaVine. This is where Zach
Art
LaVine, Ben
shakes
Simmons.
his head over that one. He shook his head.
Zach LaVine, Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I'm taking LaVine all day.
I love Levine. Don't get me wrong. I do. He's one of my favorite
You
players.
like Simmons
I like his defense.
in an All-Star? I mean,
He's gonna be guarding Dame Lillard.
he ain't gonna play defense.
I mean, he's-
in an All-Star game.
You're not. It doesn't matter. He's going to lock down.
Think so?
Who?
Yeah. Ben
the
Sim-
All-Star
He's
game?
one of the best defenders in the
he's
league.
the top 3 defender in the
It's
league.
an All-Star game. They don't play defense.
in the fourth.
In the
quarter,
fourth?
right?
We got the
He's not gonna
20.
be in the
we got
fourth
that.
quarter.
We
He
got the
won't be
Kobe.
in.
The Kobe Bryant ending. He's locking up.
He won't be in the game.
Oh, he might if they want because they start playing D down the stretch.
He won't be in. Write it down. He won't be
That's
in the
fine.
game.
I have a starting 5.
Big whoop.
All right, then we got Rudy Gobert and Vujovic. I love Gobert. You can't stand a Gobert, right?
No, I'm not a big Gobert guy.
I think he's so good.
I think Vucevic is more.
I just got to
talented.
see the Jazz do it in the playoffs. That's
Other
all.
than his
Fair enough.
lack of awareness during right in the pandemic starting, he's touching on the mics.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah.
I like Gobert. All right, Sabonis, and then Sabonis is a beast. I'm surprised he dropped this low.
I
thought you were going to take a big guy.
Yeah, you
Sabonis
should've.
was sitting there the whole time.
No, he was sniping them all.
And then last pick of the draft, Pete selected Chris Paul.
He selected.
I
him.
did not select Chris Paul.
He was forced
For the record,
He was
don't let
forced to
these
have-
two guys fool you. I did not select Chris Paul.
It's just called karma.
He was forced to.
I would have
have-
replaced him with De'Aaron Fox or something.
Oh,
I forgot about that one.
dang, Darren
another
Fox. We did forget about that one.
All right, so yeah, there's the draft. We'll do a graphic. We'll post them up on Instagram if my lovely producer can make that happen for me because I don't do graphics. But then you guys can vote on who got the better team. Make your comments.
I feel like Arts probably has a better team. But
Well, I think
don't
we
know.
all feel that way.
And you have to understand the All-Star game though too.
But everybody's got to realize Curry's here. So.
the All-Star game, like you got to see who's going to try. I think Curry could drop like 50 if he just gets hot.
Yeah.
it's possible. So can Bill.
Yeah, they all can, I guess.
Yeah.
Any one of these guys. All right, let's go. Let's talk a little first half basketball. Who's your guys' surprise team?
Surprise team is the Boston Celtics were doing so freaking
So you're going
horrible.
opposite of
Yeah,
that,
I cannot believe this. That is absolutely asinine to me. I thought after last year, seeing them in the was the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
They got to the East.
And lost to one of the hottest teams, obviously the Miami Heat. But I'm thinking this year they're going to be a top 3 team in the East, hands down, not even a question. What's the record? 17-17?
Yeah, I think it's right there.
Almost 500, yeah.
Yeah, 6th in the East, almost out of the playoffs because
were a
that
couple
hole
days ago.
from like
Yeah.
12 to 8 or 6 is like so tight.
Right.
But no, the Boston Celtics, I mean, they look like they don't even want to play. I mean, is Kemba Walker really, like, he is that guy? Like, I'm super surprised that the Celtics are playing this bad this early, and they just look disinterested.
Yeah,
I mean, you got Tatum and Brown playing out of their minds, but after that, nobody else is. The chemistry's down. Everybody was talking Brad Stevens is so great, and he is a good coach, but he doesn't have him playing great right now.
Oh, this year, the last couple games, they blew the other day against Pelicans. They blew a 25-point lead in the third quarter. Like, they don't have, they're struggling to close out games. They're getting leads. They're in every game. I mean, you've had some bad luck. Not bad luck. You blow a 25-point lead. Then you come back, you're up on the Mavericks, and Luka hits a 30-foot step-back game winner on your ass. Right. So it's like, down the stretch, it seems like they get big buckets down the stretch, but they just can't. They're not winning these close games when you're going to have to in the playoffs because otherwise you're going home. So, no, I agree. Boston's been a surprise team.
I mean, look, you had them in the finals. That was your first.
Now we'll talk about future bets, but they're 25-1 now.
Time to bet them, I guess, right?
Them and the Nuggets. Those are two of my teams that are like, I thought they'd be.
Nuggets are kind of coming back, though.
Yeah, they came back, but they're both in the 7-8 slots in their respective conferences, and that's not a place you want to be because you don't want to play. You don't want to go up against the number one team first round. You don't want to be an 8 seed,
right?
But they should get. They have to get it together. Maybe they'll make a deal. Tatum missed.
What do they need right now?
Tatum missed. They need They need a defender. I don't think.
Did you say they need a big?
Big.
They have Tice.
They have Tice. I like Tice.
You said
they need a big defender. They need a defender. Tice isn't a big defender. They need They need a Marc Gasol. JaVale McGee. Go get JaVale McGee.
They need Marc Gasol.
They need stop. Marc Gasol can't hold a candle to Tice. They go and get like a JaVale McGee type guy that doesn't need the ball and just is energy player.
Block shots.
Because Tice can shoot. Tice is more of an outside type shooter. If they get a guy that can protect the rim, I think that's what they need. I mean, we're going to talk about this in the trades.
They're trying to play small ball. Way too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the league's gone. But then if you play against Philly, Embiid's going for 50.
Has that ever worked?
Small ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Houston
Golden State?
Doing it.
Have they won it?
Golden State.
Draymond Green.
They just had a big.
They had a big guy.
Well, they had JaVale.
They had a big guy that's not like a JaVale McGee type guy.
Right.
Pachulia.
That's just gonna. Yeah, a guy that's gonna play defense.
Stomping on ankles.
Yeah. So anyway, so you got Celtics. Who's your surprise? Is it the Jazz?
No.
Are you not surprised?
I'm not
they're
surprised.
just fucking.
Are you kidding
You're not
me?
surprised they're the number 27-7?
No. And I'll get into that later.
All right, who's your surprise?
I'm surprised by the Toronto Raptors. They look like they're going to make the playoffs.
They've came back. They started 0-6.
Right.
They're back.
We were talking about them like, oh, they're out, like whatever. Knicks are going to be in there.
Yeah.
But the Raptors, and they're talking about trading Kyle Lowry, and he's playing well. Siakam still hasn't really found his groove yet. They're playing good, and I think they're 5th seed.
They're back to 17-17, I think, as well.
So, I mean, they have the capabilities to pull off an upset, and I'm surprised that, honestly, with that, the way they were playing, that they're even in the playoff picture.
Oh, they were 0-6, and I was like, they're
done.
Yeah, they're out. They didn't think they would make it back.
So I'm surprised by that.
Van Vliet's
he's a monster.
Did you see the stat with Kyle Lowry? How they're 16-0 in their last 16 games without Kyle Lowry because he missed some games.
They're talking about trading him, so
I think he's going to move.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going to
talk about that for 4 years, but
yeah, I don't know what they're going to go get, but yeah, no, I'm surprised they clawed their way back.
Yeah, so that's my surprise team.
All right, mine's the New York Knicks.
Yeah,
they're 18-17,
right.
And then
Not surprised.
They're 4th in the East right now. They're 22.5. Their season win total was tied for the lowest. 22.5.
I should have bet him.
They're 18-17 right now. So they got 40 games to win 4.
They covered easy.
They're good. Randall's playing out of his mind right now. He's in the conversation for most improved player. Emmanuel Quickley's looked like a stellar rookie. He's probably a top 5 rookie right now. Easily. Then you got they're the number 1 points per game defense, number 1 in field goal defense, number 1 in 3-point defense, 7th in rebound differential. And they've allowed the fewest 3-point. So their differential on 3 points attempted versus what their opponents is 9. They shoot 10 less 3-pointers a game than their opponent, and they're still
points in the paint.
They're just getting to the rack, getting free throws, playing lights out defense, and that's
you
rare.
think they make the playoffs?
I think they might now. In the East, it's kind of tough because they got to keep playing out of their minds. But the East is kind of.
Yeah. Quickly needs more run. Period.
And they went and got Derrick Rose, which that's a good addition for
him and Thibs have a good relationship.
And Thibodeau clearly is doing a great job there.
Yeah.
So that's just my surprise. I didn't think they would. Nobody did. Vegas, like I said, Vegas had them tied for the lowest wins this year. They didn't go out and make a free agent splash. They drafted Obi Toppin. He got hurt early and he hasn't played. He's kind of coming along a little bit. But R.J. Barrett has some weird games.
Yeah,
he has games where he's like 0 for 12. I'm like, what happened? But they started off okay. I think they were 5-3. And then they lost 6 in a row. And we're like, there we go. They collapsed. And then they've won 7 out of the last 10, I think. So that's surprising. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs because they're still, 18 and 17. There's a bunch of log jam right there.
Yeah.
You expect Boston to come back. You expect,
But they're in it, though. Which is
right now, they're in the race.
Right. Chicago's been playing without Markkanen, too.
True.
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising.
Once Markkanen comes back, I think they're going to be. And
Kobe White's playing well.
Otto Porter, too.
Yeah. Team's nice. They're young.
Yeah. I saw a video out of the Knicks. Outside of the Knicks stadium, outside of Madison Square Garden after they win, and it's crazy. People are jumping up and down.
They're happy.
It's going to be good if the Knicks get good again because they haven't been good since Melo. For 1 year they got to the 8th spot.
Yeah,
and everybody's all pumped. But I remember back in the day when they were really good with Starks and Ewing.
Allen Houston.
I
hated them.
Huh?
I absolutely hated them.
I loved watching them and the Pacers though.
Then the Pacers.
You can't go in the paint because Charles Oakley's laying you out.
Right.
Well, now he's thrown out of there. So
he is. They chucked him out.
Yeah, he can never go back.
John Starks.
Yeah, John Starks. Wow.
All right, potential trades. Did you guys look into any the trade rumors?
I didn't have time to, though.
I looked into some trades. Because I was trying to see who the Jazz could trade for. Because they've been talking to Cleveland. That's like their big trade partner.
I hope the Jazz trade.
Yeah, so the Jazz
they'll just ruin the team chemistry.
No, stop. So they keep hitting up Cleveland. Every year they've traded Cleveland. For the last 2 years, they've traded Cleveland.
They got Clarkson.
Clarkson, and the year before that, they traded Alec Burks to them, who I don't even know where he plays.
He's on the Knicks.
Oh, he's on the Knicks.
He's playing well, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So they're talking to him about trying to get Kevin Love off their hands, who's hurt. But, he's a veteran. He's been there, and they need some depth in that second unit for a 4.
Yeah.
Favors is the 5, so you put a 4 there.
And he can shoot, that's what they love to do right now.
Yeah. Right.
Smashing
so it's a
three-point
perfect
records.
offense for him.
Right.
And you could probably get him for cheap, I would think. Like maybe throw in Georges Niang and
pick or something.
Maybe like a second-round pick and throw in Jawan Brantley. Or Elijah Hughes is our rookie, and he hasn't even played.
How many more years does Love have on his contract?
I think he has 2 years
That's
left.
the problem. It's expensive. I don't know what the cap space is, but it'd be a good fit for them
they
if they can
figure
get
it out.
that done.
But I think that's a trade target. Another trade target I was noticing as you were talking about, Demar Derozan.
Yeah.
They keep trying to shop him.
I saw that
they
today,
should.
too.
He's at the peak, right? So you get max value for a contender, and you're hooking him up by giving him a shot.
I saw rumors of the Lakers going after him.
I just don't see how.
I don't see that fit.
I don't see the fit, yeah.
I don't either, but
Lakers need shoot. They surrounded LeBron. LeBron needs shooters.
Yeah. DeRozan's not a shooter.
No.
He's a slasher, mid-range.
They need another big. We all know
the
Lakers need another big guy, and I love them chasing after Mo Bamba.
Here you go.
Seriously, they need a big guy. And Mo Bamba, I think, would be a great fit. But unfortunately, I think you have to get rid of Taylor Horton Tucker or, some big potential guy like THT for Mo Bamba. Because I think Mo Bamba's got a lot left in the tank. Was he 22, 23?
He's second or third year.
Yeah, and I think the Lakers, if they go after Mo Bamba, I think they'll be, still back in contention. But they need to fill that big guy position because Damian Jones, I don't know if that's necessarily the ticket inside for the Lakers.
Well, yeah, you got Marcus Gasol.
Right.
Pau Gasol just signed in Spain. He needs to switch places with him.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I'm surprised.
I think go get JaVale McGee again. Bring him back. That guy's an energy machine.
He is.
You got Boogie's on a buyout. Blake Griffin?
No, he can't do anything.
Blake Griffin
anymore.
can't jump.
He looks bad.
So he's been rumored. That's the one I kind of noticed with the Celtics was Blake Griffin. No one's trading for him because his contract's out of and just absolutely insane.
Right.
So they were talking about buying out, and then he can sign to like a veteran minimum. And Boston was rumored to be going after him, but I don't think that helps him too much because he's. It'll help him a little bit maybe, but I don't think he can play defense.
He's not a shot blocker.
Can't play defense. He's not going to protect the rim. He can shoot. He was able to shoot for a while.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the Clipper run and the beginning of Detroit, but this year he's only shooting like 30 in the 30s, and he can't dunk anymore, which was strange because he used to be one of the best.
Right.
He might be one of the best I think he's the best in-game dunker
of all time.
That's up for debate. But so, and then that's why I keep bringing up JaVale McGee. I think he'd fit perfect in Boston. Wherever he goes, if he goes to a contender, sign him up.
Where's McGee at right now? I thought he's still on the team.
He's on the Cavs.
Yeah, okay.
He's still on the Cavs. But they're not. And then Andre Drummond, speaking of the Cavs, Andre Drummond's sitting out. They're trying to find somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin has odds on my sports book, actually. His two teams that he's favored to go to is Charlotte and Boston at plus 350. Drummond, I read, was favored to go to Toronto.
Interesting. For
Really?
Kyle Lowry,
Yeah.
probably.
That might be kind of a swap right there.
They already have two good guards, so I don't know.
But Drummond would. Wherever he goes, if he can go,
playing out of his gore.
He's not going anywhere.
if Drummond goes somewhere, that's a big signing.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like if you imagine him in Toronto.
Yeah.
So you have him and Siakam slides down to the 5 because they don't have a big guy, right? Who's their big guy? I can't even think of one right now.
Who?
Is Siakam the 5?
Podol?
Oh, Jacob Pirtle
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's there.
or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Pirtle.
So I don't know. We'll see. We got a few weeks before the trade deadline, so we'll see if some moves happen.
If you're the Lakers, do you give up THT for Mo Bamba
I would.
Yes.
I would.
right now?
You need
have
because
to, right?
you think LeBron's couple years, a few years
Here we
left.
go, dude.
Right.
AD, if he needs to come back, obviously healthy, but they don't have to. They have to win now. They got to win now.
Right.
Can I say something?
They'll
on that?
rebuild. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a scary thing with AD though.
So the Lakers, this is the thing. This is the thing I hate about LeBron and his legacy. It's like everywhere he goes, something always follows. It's like he's self-proclaimed. This is LeBron. He won that Golden State Warriors that made him the greatest player in the world, right?
Mm.
So he goes to LA. They win a title. Anthony Davis. Now they did the offseason, and they said, "Oh, Lakers won the offseason." They got all these pieces around
Harrell.
them. They got all these pieces. They got Harrell. They got Gasol. They got Wesley Matthews. They got Schroeder. Like they got all these pieces, and then now all of a sudden they get exposed by the number 1 seed. They're like, "Oh, well, Lakers don't have Anthony Davis. They have no depth. They have no bench." It's always LeBron always needs something. It's always what can we do to make LeBron better? But they said, "Oh, Lakers should be the best team in the West. They should win the." They won the offseason.
Yeah, but they're in cruise control right now.
That's what you
They're
think.
in cruise control.
With Anthony Davis, they're nothing.
They're coming off of what, less than 90 days off a championship run, and
and they're hurt.
right.
So they're on
I
cruise
think-
control.
with
they're
the
on life support.
No, they're on cruise control.
I think a lot of the issue was Davis and Schrader. If you don't have, he played the other night. They were up by 30. It was the Warriors. Obviously, the Jazz are playing lights out, so the Jazz deserve their spot. But I think he's on the cruise control thing's a real thing.
Yeah.
And with the offseason, at the time it looked good, but Schrader, they were the 1 seed before Schrader and Davis went down, right? Or right behind the Jazz. It was closer.
Yeah, it was close. They were like one or two
games
behind.
Okay.
1 or 2 games.
Just making sure.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think it hurts LeBron's legacy at all.
No, but
everybody
always
needs people. The Jazz are using.
Who do they need?
Everybody needs players.
Kevin
the Jazz are a weird example.
A playoff win.
The Jazz and Miami Heat of last year are kind of a weird example that the chemistry can carry you also.
Yeah, but the
if you have
Miami
that
Heat had a superstar in Butler. They never.
Mitchell's up there.
He's a superstar?
He's right there.
Okay.
Did you watch him in the bubble last year?
Mitchell's
up there.
definitely.
He's an all-star. First of all, he's an all-star. How many
Yeah.
superstars are there in the league?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
5 maybe?
But everybody's talking about the Jazz. They don't get no recognition because there's no superstars. They can't. Everybody's like, let's talk about playoffs. Talk about playoffs. And they always put the
Well, that's
Clippers-
what they're saying now.
But they
But
put
if
the
you
Clippers
watch the
over 'em.
game,
But you put the Clippers over them.
no.
People do. They're
People
doing
do.
that. But because why? They have
Right now,
superstar
the
power.
Jazz aren't even in the top
'Cause they have Kawhi
7.
Leonard,
They have
who's
Kawhi,
won
Paul George.
championships.
They're in LA.
Okay. What did they do last year?
Nobody on the Jazz have won a championship.
You should embrace the underdog role. They're never going to be that team because
I'm saying
LA.
That's my biggest knock on the Jazz right now is nobody's won a championship. So you could be the best regular season team, but until you win the championship or do something in the playoffs, then
This
I'm
is
not
a
a believer.
different team, though. This
It
isn't the
doesn't-
same. This isn't.
It doesn't-
But they're
our dad's
unproven.
team.
Right. It doesn't help they're in Utah.
So Clippers are proven.
The Lakers,
Kawhi Leonard's
they added
proven.
Kawhi.
What did he do last year?
Choked.
Exactly.
that's
So
fine.
he's proven.
That's fine,
He's
but
proven,
he's still
though.
proven.
Okay, he still has Paul George on his team.
Yes.
What's he proved?
Nothing yet.
Nothing. Okay.
No, I get what you're mad at.
I'm not
But
even mad at
one
it.
of the
I just-
problems
it's
is
hypocritical.
you're in Utah and you got LA and LA. They're always going to get the if they're even
Yeah.
close, they're
I get
going to
that.
get the thing. So Utah is never going to be there until they win it. That's the
I get it.
Like everybody's excited about the Knicks, but I mean, people are talking about Utah, just
Knicks
not
used
to
to be
the
a good
extent
franchise.
you want them to be.
Yeah, I want them to put them like. There's like
Yeah, people are more excited about the Knicks than the Jazz.
Right.
That's the cold hard truth.
I know it's sad. It's pathetic.
sucks
It's
for
really
a Jazz
That's like being a Pacers fan.
Right.
Well, no one's
Pacers
no
are
one's
always
a Pacers
Pacers
fan.
are
They're
always
always
a decent
when-
team.
when they were
Pacers
good. We made the Eastern Conference Finals. What, like 5 years in a row with Paul George, and no one would talk about him. They're like, we'll see and then because they never got over LeBron or over the hump.
But we still talk about the Bucks.
Kind of. This year has been quiet. This year's been real quiet.
Real quiet. Yeah, it's weird.
So-
I'm kind of worried about the Bucks now.
All right, let's get
really
to the
quiet.
awards.
All right.
Rookie of the Year's a lock, right?
Yeah, LaMelo.
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
Called
not
that
arguing-
one.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
That's Ruben.
We called that.
Minus 500 on that right now. That's not even really close. There's Tyrese Halliburton is second, I think.
Yeah,
And he's putting up decent numbers,
doing
but
good.
you look at what LaMelo's doing. He's averaging 15, 6, and 6, and then since he started, he's averaging over 20.
He'd be having way better numbers if they started him earlier.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't start.
Right.
I mean, obviously Rozier and Devontae Graham, or Rozier had some huge games, so it's hard
I'm
to.
not impressed by Graham though.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy to say right now, but
And they're in the
balled.
play- and
He
they're in
balled.
the playoffs
And they're in
right
the
now.
playoff hunt, too.
Yeah, and then playoff hunt.
All right, Coach of the Year. I know this one's easy for Arts.
Quinn Snyder.
Quinn
The
Snyder.
odds, Quinn Snyder. Is there any?
I don't think so.
So Snyder right now, betting wise, minus 150. He's the favorite. But the next closest is Doc Rivers, is plus 700. They got
That's
the
my two
Sixers
teams.
at first in the East, and you're getting 7-1. If you look a little
feel
deeper, you
like-
got Monty Williams.
Ooh.
Steve Nash.
He can't win with
Not
that.
him.
You can't win with that team.
no.
What if they just rattle off the rest of the year?
No, then
Steve Kerr won it, right? After Mark Jackson got fired and he took
Yeah.
on that team. He
Yeah.
won it.
I
possible.
think
I'm just
I'm just
Snyder's
saying, Steve Nash is a possible.
Definitely a possibility. What's his number?
Monty
You know?
Williams is Doc.
No, Nash.
I didn't see Nash. He was in the middle. Monty Williams with the Suns is 10-1.
I like that one too.
That's not bad. And then one of my favorite ones is Thibodeau, man.
Yeah.
33-1.
Yeah.
The Knicks. If they say they get the 3 seed, say the Jazz come down a little bit and go like the 2 or 3 in the probably not gonna. I'm just saying if
Yeah.
a road to victory.
Right.
Say Thibodeau goes up and the Knicks get like the 2 or 3. Probably they won't go that high though. Huh?
Yeah, but no,
4 is
they're-
probably the top.
Yeah,
Say they get the 4 seed,
That's enticing.
and then you got say the Jazz fall to like 3, and like the Clippers and the Lakers pass them.
Yeah.
At the end.
Possible.
And then you got Thibodeau sitting there with the Knicks at the 4 seed in the
Yeah.
East with no
Right.
superstar. I mean, Randall
Right.
and Mitchell are kind of on the same type. The Mitchell's I'd put a little higher,
yeah,
but
for sure.
enticing. But yeah, I'm kind of Quinn Snyder almost a lock right now.
Yeah.
The other day when we looked, it said 25-1.
Yeah,
I was
you
about
told
to
me.
freak out.
I said,
Yeah.
Because that's impossible.
The whole
put
entire
$1,000 on it.
crew is about to lay cash
Yeah.
down on that.
All right, 6th man of the year. You're looking at Clarkson at minus 400. Jazz are sweeping awards. At least the Vegas
Finally.
books are giving him some
they're
respect.
giving recognition finally.
So Clarkson minus 400. It's not going to be close. Eric Gordon's the second guy at plus 900.
Yeah, you're not giving it.
He's
to him.
not giving.
Clarkson's 18-4-2. Clarkson's 17-2-2.
He's a walking.
Or
bucket.
the backwards.
He's a walking bucket.
Gordon Dragic is 50-1. I mean, he starts though, doesn't he?
No, he's
No, I think
confident.
Noon
He was
starts.
when none starting.
Yeah.
Well, Dragic was hurt for a while, but when he came back, they started. When him and Butler were out.
He's coming off the
Butler
bench.
loves Dragic.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
his boy.
his
That's
work
his
ethic
boy.
is solid.
All right, MVP. This is where it's going to be fun.
Ooh,
So you got
baby.
I got 12 odds. You got in order. You got LeBron, Embiid, Jokic, Luka, Curry, Giannis, KD, Lillard, Harden, Kawhi, and Mitchell. But the odds, obviously, LeBron's plus 175. I honestly, I don't think he's going to win it after the latest transgressions with AD being out and going 1-5 or whatever against the big teams. I don't think he's going to win. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault. The players he was playing with were missing it.
So who's number 2? Durant.
Number 2 is Embiid at 3-1.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they stay the number 1 or number 2 seed, he'll probably end up getting it. He's averaging 30 points, 12 boards, whatever.
He's playing well. And then
It's
you
good.
got Simmons too. And then you got Jokic 5-1.
Yeah, I
His
like that
numbers are there. I mean, he's averaging 27,
And they're
11,
winning.
and 8, but they're 7-8 right now.
They're
But
gonna
he's
keep
doing
winning.
it all. He's like the key. Him and Murray.
Yeah.
My favorite. I know you like. We mentioned Steph earlier. He's
Yeah.
14-1 right now.
Right.
So they'd have to win a little bit more, I think. But he's on my favorite one. Obviously, there's Dame.
Dame time.
Lillard's 20-1, and he's got the Blazers at the 5 spot.
With no McCollum, by the way.
no Nurkic either.
Right.
So his numbers got to fall off a little bit once they get McCollum back.
He's about where they're at last year.
That's
Yeah.
He's
scary.
at 34,
That's scary.
34,
Yeah.
34 and 8 is where he's at. My favorite bet's Giannis.
What's he?
16-1.
Wow.
The Bucks are in the 3 spot right now, a game out of first.
And he's still
Quiet.
There's no way
one's-
they give it to him again.
If they come
There's
back,
no way.
If they come back and take the 1 seed back, and the
From
Jazz
Brooklyn?
and the Jazz are the 1 in the West, because there's not going to be an MVP on the Jazz. No, disrespect, like Mitchell,
I'm not arguing
Gobert,
that.
whatever. If the Bucks are the 1 seed in the East, and no one's talking, they missed Drew Holiday all year. Giannis is averaging 29, 12, and 6. It's 1 point, 1 point off.
He's on my All-Star team, by the way.
He's 1 point off last year's pace and like 2 rebounds. So it's similar.
Yeah.
He's putting up monster numbers, but if they say they go on like a 10-game winning streak and they're the 1 seed, like it's hard to.
That's tough.
And they have the same team. Holiday's missed a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that at 16-1, I think that's my favorite bet
Yeah, it's not
of
a
the
horrible
MVP.
bet.
I'm not betting LBJ at plus 175.
No.
I said Jokic preseason, but if I had to bet today, I'm taking Giannis at 16-1.
I don't think you can give it to LeBron.
Can't now.
No.
Because
they didn't win.
out,
They didn't win without AD.
right. I still think LeBron's the most valuable player on the Lakers, which I know you're not going to like, but
I think it's a toss. Coin
'Cause
toss.
if you
It's a
take-
coin
if you
toss.
take
I think
LeBron-
AD and LeBron
need each other.
Yeah,
because if you take LeBron
that's
off and put AD back
one
in,
of the best 1-2
it's the
punches.
same thing.
Not arguing that.
Same thing happens if LeBron's out and LeBron and Schroeder out, and it's just AD.
Yeah.
You got to. It might even be worse. I
Right.
mean, it can't get much worse, but
Right.
similar outcome. Who you like in the MVP?
Where's
Where's
like you
Kawhi
said,
Leonard at in here?
Kawhi's sitting at 33-1. Him and Harden. Harden's not a bad bet. Him and Harden are both
No,
33-1.
Ooh, so
Harden
Harden's
might-
a super,
33-1.
super pick.
Because Durant's been out. You got to
I
remember.
keep forgetting about Harden.
Yeah, because everybody's freaking talking about Harden this year too, and how great he's playing. Oh, he's playing the best basketball he's ever played. Like the media is all over James Harden,
Yeah.
and if they end up the number 1 seed, and Durant plays half the games,
Yeah.
I mean Harden's not. And he might be MVP.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, betting wise, that 33-1 sounds
Go
pretty
Harden.
enticing.
Go Harden. Giannis.
Yeah, I
And
would
hopefully one of them get the 1 seed.
bet. I would bet
Yeah.
on him.
They got
But
16 and 33.
if I was betting who I think is going to win it, I would bet Embiid.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
I think he's playing phenomenal.
yeah. That's who I have.
That's
wrote
my
down
that's my
is Embiid,
favorite.
but
So you got
Yeah.
all right.
I kind of like the Harden pick though.
No, the 33-1. You got me at 33-1.
Yeah.
Harden all day. $200.
Oh,
All right. Well, let's get to the finals predictions.
He's on my team too.
This is our midseason update. Like I
Mid-season
said
update.
before, I nailed the baseball and the basketball or the football. So this is golden.
Okay.
I'll go last though.
Okay, I'll go first. Mine doesn't change.
Same.
Philadelphia and Utah. Weird. They're both number 1 seeds.
So
Called
you
that in
called
the
that
beginning.
preseason.
Yeah.
That's good.
Called that in the beginning.
And
Just
you got
because
Utah beating them.
of course, they're structured the same way. Literally, they have a big that the game gets facilitated to, and then they have the pick and roll set up with Embiid and Simmons. Then you have Mitchell and Gobert. And then they all have shooters around them. Donovan, Ingles, Curry. I mean,
So hold on. Who do
It's
the
the
Jazz
same
beat in
team.
the West?
everybody.
Hey, but who do you got in the
So
Western Conference?
currently, right now, is matching up 1 versus 8. They'd be
Yeah.
playing Golden State.
Yeah.
I see them flying through Golden State pretty easily this year.
They should.
If it was any other year, I'd be a little bit more worried, obviously. But they would play them, and I think it goes 4 or 5, right? So they'd play Phoenix or Portland, which I
As of
yeah.
currently, I'd feel comfortable against either one of those teams.
Yeah.
Especially McCollum dealing with injuries, and then it would be Clippers or Lakers out the other side.
That's a good thing. Utah needs to win. Get the 1 seed.
That's why they need the
because
1
then
seed.
they don't have to go through both LA teams.
Right.
Right.
So I
Unless
think
one of them falls to
they either
4,
1
but-
seed. Right now they have the easiest schedule the second half of the season.
Yeah, I did see that.
So they have the second easiest schedule, or the first easiest schedule.
Easiest, yeah.
So then if they get that 1 seed, they secure their own fate, in my opinion. They avoid one.
They just got to
team.
beat one of the LA teams.
Right. So they avoid one LA team, and I think they match up well against the current Lakers. They match up well.
With Gobert in the middle.
Yeah.
I think they match up well against the current Lakers. And Clippers a little bit more athletic currently. So they obviously has troubles when we were talking about this earlier. They had some trouble guarding the perimeter guys because they only have one perimeter defender in Royce O'Neal. So I could see that being a struggle. So I'd rather play the Lakers to get into the finals.
Yeah, we'll see what moves they make because if they can go out and get another
I
defender,
don't think the Jazz are going to make
they're
any
just
moves.
chilling.
I mean,
All right.
they're all chemistry based.
True.
That's how they.
Yeah.
That's how they're winning.
Yeah.
So that's my picks. I'm not changing anything.
Okay. What do you got?
I got Clippers, Nets,
Clippers, Nets.
and I got the Nets win it all.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say they have the most talent in the league. So I think talent in the NBA is what you need, and I think talent is just going to take over in the playoffs. I think James Harden, he wants it this year. Kevin Durant obviously wants it. Kyrie Irving, who knows where his head's at, but I still believe that you have those three guys. I could coach that team. Arch could coach that team. You could coach that team. Right. I mean, like literally that team to me, and they have an inside presence. And, I think the Nets have the best team in basketball, period.
No worries about the defensive struggles?
No.
And KD's been out, and they're still reeling off wins.
Right.
Yeah. Harden, we mentioned Harden.
I'm going to side bust a little bit. Do you remember when we had this conversation preseason? You said, I'm going to pick the Nets based solely off talent before Harden.
Yeah.
And you're like, never mind, I'm going to pick Philadelphia.
Yeah. Switched it.
But then
now he's back.
Now Harden's there.
Back.
But now Harden's there. So they have that talent you talked about before, plus more talent with a potential MVP.
Yeah.
So I think you're onto something, but you kind of swayed a little bit. But now you're back.
I did.
You're back.
I'm back.
So Nets, he said.
I flipped a little bit for sure.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I would take the Lakers in the finals, except AD.
Questionable, right?
Yeah, I don't like that Achilles injury.
Yeah,
that's kind of scary to me. I don't think he's going to be 100% all
especially
year.
for Lakers fans.
And if you're the Lakers, you're trying to secure the future. I mean, so I think you kind of want to sit him out the rest of the year. I mean,
I'm cool with that.
if I am the Lakers, I'm sitting AD out for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So then that means the Jazz run into the Lakers. I think the Lakers slip a little bit. So the Jazz run into the Lakers a little sooner.
Oof. I don't like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
And AD comes back for the playoffs healthy. So I think you got Jazz meeting LA, the Lakers.
Oh,
and
that's
I think the Clippers. That's just what I see.
Or you got like Denver coming up. They could run into Denver.
Yeah. They get hot in the playoffs. We all know that.
Yeah, we know. Jazz know that especially. So do the Clippers.
Well, I'm going.
This is true. They folded.
Out of the East, I'm going Milwaukee.
Whoa.
No one's talking about
No
him.
one.
Drew Holiday's going to be back. Middleton got snubbed as an all-star.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Giannis thing kind of worries me, the way to beat him in the last couple of years. But if they have Holiday and Middleton at the same time, and they got DiVincenzo, he's been playing a lot. But all these guys are getting more playing time now because of the injury to Holiday. So you got like Bryn Forbes from San Antonio. He's been shooting well with them. And like I said, nobody's talking about him, and they're one game out of first.
It's wild.
I think they like running under the radar. No one's expecting them to win. So I think they're going to come out of the East. And then I got Utah beating them in the finals. I just think the Utah Jazz thing is kind of real this year.
Yeah.
Watching them, the eye test cast threes, it's a different game. Gobert's a monster. I know everybody hates Gobert.
Right.
But his rim protection is
for sure.
Not to be questioned. That's why he's in the Defensive Player of the Year every year. And I don't trust watching the Lakers right now. I never will trust the Clippers. I think the Lakers would be the only team I would take outside of Utah. But I think Utah, I think it's set up well.
I think if the Lakers are healthy,
they're
going to be tough to beat.
This Jazz team's crazy to me though. Watching them
once they hit the playoffs, once the Lakers hit the playoffs,
it is a different mode. I just don't trust the role players. Honestly, like Caruso and all these.
I'm just taking
KCP.
Kawhi. That's all. I love Kawhi.
So I'm going.
A little biased, but
if I hit this
Kawhi.
one,
I'm a Kawhi fan.
I don't know if I call it this. I don't.
So you got Bucks, Jazz.
I got Bucks. I got Jazz over the Bucks in the finals.
Small markets.
Jazz winning it all.
Jazz winning.
We got two guys
this is
over
the year
here. You guys are
2021.
riding that all the way to the championship.
That's what I'm talking about, Pat.
I'm going Jazz over the Bucks.
Baby. Say it out loud. Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Jazz over the Bucks.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
The two long shot bets though, I think are crazy. I mentioned earlier, Denver and Boston are both 25-1. Like that's another team. Like
those aren't
Denver,
horrible teams to bet.
25-1's crazy,
right?
Like if the Celtics have the talent to go, especially coming out of the East.
Yeah,
I think out of the West, the only teams that can come out was like Lakers, Jazz, Nuggets.
You don't think Phoenix has a chance?
Four. I don't think Phoenix can win it. So there's 4 out of the West I think come out. Out of the East, I think there's Philly, Boston, Nets,
name all 8,
and Bucks. 4. And there's 4 on each side that can come out. Right. Outside of that, like the Knicks aren't going to be there.
No.
Wizards, I think, can still make the playoffs. They're making a run.
Yeah, they can.
Give me that 8 seed.
They have a chance.
But other than that, so we go. We got Jazz. 2 Jazzes.
I love that. I love
just
that.
watching it, man. Bogdanov. I'm watching him right now.
Yeah, it's a close game though.
It's close.
I'm not going to be a believer in the Jazz until they win in the playoffs.
That's fair.
They haven't won in the playoffs yet. None of these guys have a championship. I just don't see it happening.
So Quinn Snyder. Yeah,
I don't think Jordan Clarkson. He's
in a perfect role.
It's a
for
Lakers
sure.
hater.
He can come in. No, he can come in and cast.
That's all he
I
has
get
to
it.
do.
But he's so. I don't think he's got to prove it in the
Continue.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I got to see it in the playoffs. That's all there is to it.
This is my biggest complaint. Everybody's like, "Oh, playoffs." This isn't our parents' Jazz team. This team is shattering records.
This ain't Daddy's Jazz team.
Yeah, they've never done this. They're playing better than the Golden State Warriors did. Think about that.
They're shooting their
that team's
frickin'
arguably,
dick off.
as LeBron said, the greatest team in the history of basketball, and he beat them. This is that Jazz team. The Jazz are playing like the Detroit Pistons, but shooting like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
The team.
That's going to be so tough to do that in the playoffs. Like the last couple minutes, because guys get checked on the freaking 3-point line.
They're gonna check. You can get checked.
I'm just saying they get checked on the 3-point line. 4-0
We'll
sweep.
see. I can't wait for the playoffs this year.
It's harder
There's a
for
lot of-
guys to score threes in the playoffs.
Right. Or since I might be right and I'll be crying and saying that I hate the Jazz again all over again. But this is a different team. I have a different feeling about this team. I don't
Normally,
know.
I would never pick the Jazz, just so you know.
No, I know.
But watching them is nuts.
It's fun to watch. They're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch.
It's like, whoa.
Especially Bogdanovich. That fool's a monster.
Yeah. He's a stud.
All
And he was
right.
hurt, by the way, last year. Okay.
There we go. We got our predictions. Go bet the Jazz. Go bet the Jazz. We got 2-1 consensus over here.
Go bet James Harden.
James Harden or
James Harden.
Bet Harden, Giannis, and the Jazz. You were going to win one of them. All right, that's it. Make sure you check out Make sure you check out the UFC podcast. Me and Bob are going to break down UFC 259 and give you all the winners for that one. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.